Okay. Chuck,
Okay.
5 minutes, Chuck, so we're closing up.
Okay, well, basically, I like to say a couple things. First of all, talk about whether we think it's a conspiracy now. We don't necessarily think it's a conspiracy, but it's a matter of a tree of knowledge in life. If you go around a certain tree of knowledge where you think things are going, cognitive, and you have a group think, a certain, any discipline, you start to build that up, and then in the tree of life that follows that is what happens. And this is kind of what's happening. They made a determination, for CAD cells. But we've heard a lot of variables that are we have no idea what they are, and so which entails the cost of this thing. They say they're going to save $500 million, but then they don't know if it's going to be a bigger thing. They don't know if they're going to need to do subsequent layers. There's a lot of unknowns, so we don't know if we're going to save any money whatsoever. Right now, presently, well, they're shipping everything to Wayne Disposal up in Michigan, right? Like I should just said. And if they kept on doing that, it would have the same, there's a difference between the CAD cell and what they're doing now is the place they're doing it now is on a place that naturally has 10 feet of clay. Okay, so it's already a place that's very well contained. And then on that, they have a cell within a cell, and that's where they're putting this stuff. On top of that, it's an upland storage facility. I mean, it's above the ground. If there's a collection capability where if anything leaks out, it leaks into this and they can fix it. Now, what's the mitigation capability of something that's underwater, in the ground? We had an earthquake just in April, I think, in Nashawina. It's like 9 miles away from here, with aftershocks. And we had a gigantic one on the whole East Coast. Now, that can cause problems down the road. But on top of that, we talked about PCB contamination with the air. I'm more concerned about the PCB contamination in the water because the air blows away fairly quickly. Even though that while this is happening, it could be a problem. Once it's blown away, it's gone, more or less. But the stuff in the water you want to keep will still be a problem as long as you keep it. Presently, again, if you follow the program before this CAD cell determination, it would all be shipped to Michigan. Michigan is a facility that's storing it not just for us, but for a lot of other places. So the locations that they're drilling and boring at right now, testing for, none of those places need any kind of monitoring. And they would never, ever need any kind of monitoring if you just kept shipping it to Michigan, where they're already doing monitoring. So, again, now Cousteau, talking about bioaccumulation, because there's a similar problem in Puget Sound. There's a CAD cell in Puget Sound that was put outside of a naval facility, which is a federal location. It's not a populated area. It's not near a fishery, based place. So I don't think the public had much to say about that because it was a federal facility and they could kind of do what they felt like doing. This is the first time ever in the history of the world where anybody ever wanted to put this amount of PCBs in the ground. And they just decided, so what we're doing here is we're carrying on a priority that this is what we're doing, when we really should be saying a lot of these questions that we thought we were talking about before they made a decision is still up in the air, including the cost, 47 years, 60 years, stuff like that. Most of us, whether we're alive or not, 30 years from now, will we leave behind a legacy of it being gone and never be a problem to anybody ever again? Or will we leave it here where it can resurface its ugly head again? I mean, you say it's clean, we want to clean it, we want to talk about the stigma of a dirty harbor in terms of business and stuff like that. The thing is, if you have a messy house and you sweep it under your rug, does your stigma of you being a dirty housekeeper go away? Or are you still a dirty housekeeper? Right? So I think I've said enough. I mean, the orcas, in fact,
issues, I got your water quality.
right. The orcas, in fact, are disappearing in Puget Sound, and they theorize it's because of bioaccumulation of PCBs. And again, they didn't get rid of it; it's still there. And it's other problem. Duwamish River. Look at the Duwamish River on. You can Google that. They have a similar problem to us. Boeing has polluted the Duwamish River, like Aerovox and other places polluted the Acushnet River. And we also have a distillation and some comments by Hands Across the River president up online at newbedfordopen.com, where you can see what he said in a recent letter and also some of the stuff I've distilled down to it makes some sense, as much as I see it. I mean, you know, we all have opinions, like the man said. But basically, we have a method that we're using. It might take 47 years, but when we're done, it's gone. If you put it here, it's not gone. And it may or may not cost less. We don't know if it's gonna cost less.
So, Chuck, let me just cut you out there. The purpose of these meetings is to come on these guys, on EPA and everybody else, to prove to us that this option's better than the one we have now.
Yeah, but I would
That's
say,
what we're doing here.
I would say a
So,
priority,
the
the fact that
prove that.
it can't ever be better as long as the PCBs are
That's the
still
discussion we're
here.
having.